I've always known that my cultural heritage is a big part of who I am, but the more that I learn about my ancestral roots, the more I realize that it has truly impacted who I am as a person and how I walk through the world. So on one side of my family, I know that my roots include artists, it includes innovators, people trying new things, like even lucha libre, but even land stewards, people who are dedicated to taking care of the land and to saving seeds. On the other side of my family, you have people who are doing or who have done things a bit within the larger structural system, right? People who've worked in government, people who've been mayors, community organizers, and even worked in the military. And so from there, I've sort of unconsciously inherited these different traits from my family members, from my ancestors, that have led me to become a person with a great sense of perseverance, an eclectic, really, way of living, because I consider myself an artist, I am a land steward, and I'm also a community organizer and a leader. And it's really interesting to find out that both of those things, all of those things are part of my ancestry. There are parts of my ancestry that are a mystery to me, and yet I've been able to make certain deductions based off the information that I do have. For example, I was born in northern Mexico, and a lot of my family is also in northern Mexico. And now I live in the southeast coast of Texas. Growing up, I got here when I was 7 years old, and so I always kind of carried this identity of being an immigrant. And at the same time, within me, I know and I am confident that my people have been here before, because the border that is there now didn't always exist. It was man-made. And it also just makes sense that my family, who is from northern Mexico, and now us who are in southern Texas or southern-ish Texas, these places are close enough to where there are a lot of things that tie these two places together, not just the land, not just the environment or the people, but also the issues that we're facing in both places. The first place I ever lived in is in the greater Monterrey region in Mexico, and they have the dirtiest air of all North America. That's what a recent study has found. And in Houston, a place that I consider a sister city to Monterrey, we're facing again some of the hardest challenges because of the petrochemical industrial complex that we have in our backyard, combined with many other industries as well. And so the legacy that I carry forward is a legacy of taking care of the land, taking care of the people, and taking care of that heritage and culture that I have loved my entire life. And even though, yes, this modern society tells me I'm an immigrant, I know that my ancestors have been here before, and there's a reason why I ended up here again. Those ancestral roots combined with my cultural heritage, which is a mixture of indigenous, Mexican, and Texan culture, come together to really create this legacy that I am carrying forward today. The accomplishment that I am most proud of is both personal and professional. It stems out of a problem that I've had in my personal life. As long as I can remember, really since I was a baby, I've had health issues that have affected my life. And in the last 10 years, those issues were getting progressively worse. And so it got to the point where it affected my mental health. And I entered these cycles of depression and desperation where I felt as if that was going to be my entire life, my entire existence. So I'm extremely proud of having been able to pull myself out of that cycle into a cycle that is much more positive. It's centered around gratefulness. It's centered around strength and confidence that my contributions toward building a better world, not just for myself, but for the people around me and for future generations, is worthwhile. That my contributions make a difference. But I never imagined that my life would be entirely dedicated and shaped to addressing the issues, the core issues and the root issues that were affecting my health my entire life, which is pollution, toxicity, and just an unhelpful social environment. And so what I've done in the last few years is I've taken a step back and I've figured out how can I, in every aspect of my life, dedicate myself, my efforts, my talents, my time to addressing those issues that have been so burdensome on me and on my family. And so today, yes, I run this organization where we focus on community engagement and supporting community with the issues that affect them most, and also advocating to government officials and agencies. But it's also affected every other aspect of my life in terms of making decisions day to day that are going to prepare me to creating this better future that I want, one step at a time, starting inward and going outward. My aim is so that every person within the team, every individual feels seen, valued, and empowered. And so my goal moving forward is to become always a better communicator so that I can better understand the team and the team can better understand me. And also so that I can better understand what are the strengths of each individual within the team so that I can better uplift them and empower them to build on those strengths. Because the stronger that the team members are able to step into their ideal role, the better that they're able to contribute to the greater group outcome. In every decision, making sure, I am conscious of how am I playing a role in this greater extractive and damaging system that really we all live in, right? I didn't create this system, but I can be an active participant in dismantling that system and creating a better future for us. So that means not just demanding better from others and demanding better from corporations or from elected officials, but also demanding more from myself in making better decisions and in restructuring my life in a way that, again, is going to embody that better future that I want to see for myself and for those around me. My goal with my environmental work is to create lasting changes in a strong foundation that future generations can continue to build on. Day to day, I focus on building stronger ecosystems, which means that, I'm pouring good things into the environment around me. Based off my experience in the garden and taking care of the land, that's how you build a stronger ecosystem, is by pouring good things in. My goal is also to inspire others to believe and have the confidence that their contributions are also part of creating this bigger picture, this bigger thriving environment for everyone. So it's kind of like an orchestra. You have different instruments playing different notes, but they all come together to create this harmony. And so in a garden, you see that the birds play a role, the squirrels play a role. Even the smallest microorganisms that you can't see in the soil play an incredibly important role. And so when it comes to community, it's about understanding that your role and my role come together in ways that we can't even see every time. It's not always evident, but we can have the confidence that those things do come together, those positive contributions do come together to create a stronger environment. Raíces Collaborative, the organization that I lead, the name comes from the fact that roots in the forest or in an ecosystem, they continue to grow underground, and sometimes you can't see them growing. Sometimes you can't see how far they're extending downward or outward, but they are doing that. They are continuously growing and strengthening, especially when taken care of. And so eventually those roots meet up with other roots that are doing the same, and they support each other. They help uplift each other. They help give each other a stronger foundation. Sometimes that development is not visible to the naked eye because, again, it's happening underground. It's happening where the eye can't see. But we can have the confidence that it is happening. We can have the confidence that that strength is building and that that support is building. And that's exactly what I hope to accomplish myself within my environmental work and accomplish with others who are also invested in this work. In the past, this type of work has led to a lot of burnout on my part. And more I'm learning how to avoid burnout altogether and be more sustainable and consistent in my work. By one, understanding that things are not typically consistent. There are times where we need to take pauses or a step back or just a breather. And I look to the environment around me, to nature, to teach me how to do that and to inspire me to know that taking a break is okay. Not only is it okay, oftentimes it's necessary. Right now it's spring, and spring has been coming in full force here in Houston because we have a particularly short winter. And it's incredible to see how much change, how much growth can happen in a really short period of time. But that only comes after a time of rest, after winter. It comes after a time where everything lies low and becomes more silent, becomes a little crusty even, a little brown around the edges. But suddenly, once you've let those things rest, once you've let the plants rest, the environment take a breather, everything comes right back up, and sometimes with even greater strength. And so to me, that's a lesson in understanding that we don't have to keep going 100% at 100% speed. To me, the lesson is going at 100% speed all the time is not the natural way of doing things. It's not the natural way of seeing results. And the strongest lesson for me has been to listen to my body and to listen to my mind. And if it is telling me you need a break, or if it's telling me we're not advancing and we're spinning our wheels, then it's time to take a pause. It's time to take a rest and to reconsider, or maybe just to stop thinking for a second until my body is restored, until my mind is restored and ready to go again. And those breaks have been essential because sometimes, again, I come back with much stronger force, the same way that plants do after a winter, the same way that some animals do after hibernation. We are part of nature, and we have to understand that we need to act that way. What I've learned about my leadership style since I started my career is that my style is focused on building ecosystems. That means that the goal is less focused on individual output, but rather how can the team work cohesively and effectively together. To accomplish this, I focus on building strong personal relationships, fostering collaboration, and to creating structures that allow the team to more effectively work together. This means investing time in understanding team dynamics and making sure that team members all feel seen and heard, and also investing time into shared goals rather than individual contributions. My goal is so that every individual within the team feels seen, empowered, and valued. Specifically, I want to become better at providing tailored feedback, asking more thoughtful questions, and also being very intentional about acknowledging individual contributions. At this point in my career, I feel confident in my ability to create strong connections, networks, and even build coalitions and to manage them. At this point in my career, I also feel confident that I am able to push forward innovative solutions and to help others push those solutions alongside me. Every time that we have received additional resources, it has helped elevate what we are able to do. Receiving something like the Rachel's Catalyst Award would be an immense opportunity for us to elevate once again and for us to amplify the impact that we have. And innovation is never easy because we are forging a path forward that has not necessarily been forged before. I have learned to accomplish a lot with limited resources. So I am confident that any additional contribution, any additional resource is going to really help catalyze what we've been able to accomplish and what I've been able to accomplish as a leader. Well, I know that any additional support is going to help me feel more confident and more secure in what I'm doing, to feel like I have a backing for sustainable growth, and also to amplify the impact that I've already been able to accomplish with the help of my team and my community. I have a really strong vision for what our efforts can lead to, for what our efforts can help contribute and inspire in others. And I know that every contribution is going to be helpful in expanding that and making that stronger. I have not only been a witness, but I have been a part of making changes locally and throughout the state of Texas, in a place where the odds are truly not in our favor. A lot of people throughout the country are skeptical of investing in Texas because they've seen us as a state that is almost like beyond hope, or not an easy place to win. And that's correct, it's not an easy place to win. And yet we are the front lines of a lot of the problems that we're seeing throughout the country. We are in the front lines of not only political issues, environmental issues, but also societal issues, because Our communities have been torn down little by little through miseducation, through propaganda, through just weakening of who we are. And yet, despite the odds being against our favor, despite the challenges in front of us, we have been able to achieve great strides. We have been able to bring more people into the movement. And people are speaking up all throughout the state. Even in small towns, you see people speaking up. You see that we are persevering despite the challenges. And I'm so proud to be a part of that perseverance. I'm so proud to be part of those groups that are pushing forward and seeing wins despite the challenges. So I truly believe that not only as a state is this a good place to invest, but I do believe that I myself as a leader am a good investment right now because I'm part of this greater movement of taking the lessons learned and using them to forge this new path forward and to beat the odds that are not in our favor. This is the perfect time for that.